Hello and welcome back to Gaming 101 with Mr. Berger. So first of all, thank you to everybody who took a look at my first video. I was surprised with how many people actually took the time to look at it. So thanks to everyone who looked at it. Special thanks to everybody who actually subscribed to me. Now I have some pressure to put out some actual decent videos and some content instead of just talking about myself for 20 minutes. So that's what I want to do with this video. On top of that, if you guys have any constructive criticism or constructive feedback that you want to give me, anything at all as far as like layout goes, anything like even audio quality, my talking too monotone, anything like that, just go ahead and let me know in the comments and I'll see if I can adjust anything. I'm just getting things started here, so any feedback will be greatly appreciated. Alright, so what I want to do today, or tonight rather, is take a look on my alt account at 5 of the current decks that I'm running. I'm going to talk about each one briefly, and then I'm going to play it. So as you recall, on my alt account, and the reason I call it my alt account is because it's like my alternate account. And I used to play World of Warcraft and we had alternate characters, which we'd call our alt characters. So, I just kind of using the lingo that I'm used to. So, I don't want to call it my free-to-play account, because my main account is also free-to-play. In the sense that I don't actually spend any money on this game. I figure, why spend money on a game where you can get everything for free eventually anyway? It's just a matter of getting things quicker. If I had the extra money to spend on it, maybe I would. But it's not something that I feel like I should be, putting my resources into at the moment. So, on my alt account, I'm sitting at about 2,981 trophies. And as I mentioned in my last video, I'll be constantly, dropping trophies. I'll win a match and then purposely lose one to stay at about 3,000 trophies. That way I can gain access to, getting all the cards here and all the bonus chest loot. You get more cards depending on what arena you're in. The higher arena, obviously, will give you more cards from each chest. So I'll lose one so that I plop back down to about 3,000. Or maybe just under 3,000, because then I'll still stay in this arena. And then I'll play one again. So let's talk about each deck really quickly, or rather look at it. And then I'm going to cut between each video as I play through each deck. And I'm going to try to give kind of like a live, well, I guess it's a recording so it's not live, but a play-by-play of how I'm doing, how I'm playing the deck as I'm playing the deck. So it might be a little bit, choppy and difficult, because I might be focusing on playing the deck, but let's see how it goes. So my first deck here is Mortar Cycle. Now I want to get into a whole bunch of terminology in another video, but let's not get into that now. Just keep in mind that my main win condition here is my Mortar, and I got a bunch of cycle and support cards to help it out, and I got that extra range with the Princess. Over here I got classic log bait with a little bit of a twist. I got my Dark Goblin in there instead of good old, what is the Ice Spirit, yeah, to give me more cycle. Dark Goblin is just more log bait. It baits the log even more, or it's another card to bait the log with. Over here I have a good old, what do we call this, Royal Giant deck, and I know I said good old twice, but this one is apparently classic. I watch a lot of Clash with Ash, and he was saying that this deck is kind of like the go-to Royal Giant deck right now. So you got your Royal Giant as your win condition, and you got a bunch of support cards. You got your Barbarians to take care of things like Hog when they come onto your map. So you got your Furnace to just plop down before you do anything else. That's also your like kind of defensive card. Alright, now this is bridge spam. I have a little bit of trouble with bridge spam. I haven't quite figured it out yet. It's probably one of the weakest decks. Or how do I say this? I'm weakest at this deck as far as play goes. I'm still figuring it out, but I'll give it a try and see how it goes. And lastly we got good old boy, I really like that expression. We have Giant Beatdown with some Nightwitch. I got my highest level cards in this deck. I got my level 6 Baby Dragon, my level 9 Giant, my level 2 Nightwitch, another level 2 Legendary, which is pretty good for, where I'm at right now. So, as I mentioned before, I'm going to go through each deck, play it once or twice, and kind of give a play-by-play. So let's start with the Mortar deck. So keep in mind, Mortar is my main win condition. I can use it defensively, but primarily I want to use it offensively. Everything else just kind of supports it. And the Princess also helps with chip damage. Rocket is there to kind of finish up the job, or Rocket Cycle if I have to at the end of a game. Alright, let's jump right in. Alright, I like to give everybody good luck, because I'm friendly like that. Now I made some adjustments with my audio and some video and stuff. I'm still kind of working on figuring this whole recording thing out. I'm using OBS. Oh, look at that, he activated my king tower. Well, that's a terrible move to do. Maybe he's trolling. Or maybe he's just not so great. Anyway, I'm using OBS to record, and then I'm also using what is it called? Lightworks to start doing a little bit of like video editing. So I'm still figuring that out. So if anybody has any feedback, or not feedback, but like advice on how to use any of these programs, I would definitely appreciate it. You can give me a message or a comment or whatever. Hit me up on Facebook if you want. Right, so as you can see, I've already almost taken out his right tower because that mortar's just wailing on it. I can easily counter his Mega Knight with my regular Knight. Costed him 7 Elixir, and this only cost me 3. See, the Knight and the Princess Tower are pretty much taking care of it. I have to do something about this Bandit. That's going to give me trouble. So I put the archers down, and the archers on top of the bats take care of it. So at this point I've already got a tower. In Mortar decks and Siege decks in general, you don't worry too much about getting like 2 or 3 crown wins as much as you would in like a Beatdown deck, like the giant one that I'll showcase a little bit later. And this one is more about, just getting 1 or 2 crowns and just kind of, winning the game that way. Of course, you can still get 3 and, annihilate them if you're capable, or if it's a bad matchup for them. So for now, I'm just kind of playing defensively. Of course, playing defensively, my stuff is going to counter push, so I get some damage on his tower here. So keep in mind, guys and gals, that this is going to be a little bit of a one-sided match. A lot of these are, because I'm playing on my alternate account, and a lot of my stuff is going to out-level theirs because of the way that I use it. So I know that sounds kind of petty, but that's just how I choose to do this deck. I'm sorry, this account. Just kind of for the fun of it, and it does allow me to kind of showcase the decks a little bit easier, which is kind of what I wanted to do here. So you can see there, Kevin pretty much gave up, or maybe he got a phone call. That's what I think half the time is. People are on their phone playing this game and got a phone call and had to stop for a minute. And couldn't get back into their game in time. He pretty much gave up and didn't start playing anything, or stopped playing everything for a little while. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and cut on over to deck number 2 now. So the next deck that I'm going to showcase here is a little bit of a twist on the classic log bait. The idea behind log bait is you use your various win conditions, which are like your princess, your goblin gang here, and most importantly your goblin barrel. That's your main win condition. And you kind of bait out their use of the log. Most decks will run log or zap, and I'll get into that more in another video. Log actually has a lot less usage because zap came into more usage lately because the presence of bats. That's the main reason. And zap bait decks and things like that. But log bait is definitely still very viable. So anyway, the idea is like you plop down your princess at the bridge, or even better like your goblin gang. They waste their log on that, and then you can toss a goblin barrel safely at one of their towers. And as long as they don't have like a hard counter or another spell or something in their deck, then they won't have their main counter, which is the log, for your goblin barrel. So let's go ahead and give this a go. Alright, so what do I want to start with here? I like a princess in the back. I use princess on this account a lot because it was one of the first legendaries I got, and I don't have it on my main account. Alright, he's got a, what is that, a giant skeleton. I'm just going to plop these guys down to kind of support it. Giant skeleton is really easily counterable by a lot of things in my deck. All I gotta do is put a knight like over here. That'll kite him to the middle of the map. And then my towers will wail on him. Ooh, he's got clone in there. That's right, I can handle that. Now just play defense for a little bit. I'm gonna toss a goblin barrel. See if he has any counter to the goblin barrel. Sometimes that's actually a good first move, is to just Goblin Barrel as like your first play, because then they're forced to like answer to it, and you may see their main counter to it. You may see that they have Log, and that they used it right away, and then you can plop like your Goblin Gang at the bridge, or your Princess, or something like that. Inferno Tower is here to counter big, heavy units like the Giant, or the Golem, or the Lava Hound, but you can use it to counter, you know, pretty much anything that's solo. It's just weak against swarm cards. So that's to play a little bit of defense and then kind of get a counter push going. Goblin Gang will push here. I'll just rock it and hit that Witch. It only costs him 5 and it costs me 6, but I get a little bit of extra damage on his tower, as well as hitting the Witch. And on top of that, now he doesn't have Witch in his rotation, and you can't build it up because that might be like a huge part of his beatdown, you know, his snowball. Let's get a Goblin Barrel going again. A Goblin Barrel is really effective. Ooh, Sparky. It's really effective if you have a little knight or something, some sort of a tank in front of it, because then the tower will be shooting the knight, and the goblins will just be, you know, smacking on the tower. So I want to try to rotate back into Rocket, because Rocket will one-shot. Look at this. It killed all 3 of them. I was going to say it will one-shot Sparky, but it killed everything that he had, so that was super effective. Alright, well at this point I got about 37 seconds left, so I might as well just play defense. I tossed the Goblin Barrel out just because I got it in rotation. Forces him to respond to it, and then he can't build up as much. Alright, he's getting desperate. He's Sparky at the bridge. I'm just going to rocket it again because I got it in rotation. And now that I know that he has Sparky, I'm not going to do something dumb like waste it on his Witch when he's got Sparky. Because if I use it on his Witch, if he's smart, he'll use his Sparky right after that, because then I won't have my rocket in rotation. Alright, well that's a game. He's angry probably because I out-level him. I know, it's lame. But it's okay. I'm just trying to help people out and showcase some of these cool decks. Alright, and that was Log Bait featuring Dark Goblin in the place of Ice Spirit. Okay, so the next deck that I'm going to show here is classic Royal Giant deck. As I mentioned earlier, the Royal Giant's your main win condition in this. You usually want to put down your Furnace early and then kind of support, or use that to support your Royal Giant. And then when you got your Royal Giant down, you want to, you know, use your minions, your archers and stuff to kind of support him. Then of course you got all your spells to clear out any swarm. It's interesting, they run both Log and Zap. I would almost never do that, but I just kind of got this deck from online. And it works out alright. It supports your Royal Giant really well, because if they've got like a skeleton army and a Goblin Gang, then you got 2 answers to it right away. Of course, Barbarians are great against any big tanks, you know, like a, what would you call it, like a Giant or a Golem, good against Hog. Also good against like P.E.K.K.A, because it is technically a little bit of a swarm card, because there's 4 of them. Okay, let's go ahead and give this deck a try. Now, Royal Giant is... he's a pretty hated card. They've had to nerf him a couple times, but it hasn't been very effective. One of the videos that I was watching on Ash's channel was talking about how, you know, it's just the overall mechanic of him, the fact that he's a ranged tank, is what kind of makes him really OP. So they nerf him, you know, make his stats weaker, but that doesn't remove the fact that his role is very powerful. Just the concept of what he is really strong. So you just plop him down, and he just shoots away at the tower, and there's nothing they can do about it for a few seconds, usually. Sometimes they can do something like, you know, put down an Inferno Tower in the right spot and just blow it up. But if you can, like, get that out of rotation, then your Royal Giants just do a ton of damage. So right now, I'm just playing defensively. I don't plop a Royal Giant down when I have only 6 Elixir. I use them when I got a lot more, or when I've got some sort of an advantage. Because, see, he's got an answer to it right away. So it's kind of risky to play him. Because now I use 6 Elixir on that Royal Giant, and I've only got, you know, what's remaining to defend. But I'll do just fine here. So I really like to play kind of passively, just overall. I like to save up my Elixir. So that's what I'm doing. Now I'm going to counter what he's got more easily because I saved my Elixir. So I use my Barbarians and my minions to take care of that Electro-Whiz first. You want to kill the support first, generally, before the tank. Or else the tank will just be soaking up a ton of damage and buying a bunch of time for the support to kill your counter cards. Alright, that minion got some good damage off. So I've got an awkward hand right now, so I'm just going to use the Royal Giant because I've got only that and 3 spells, so I can't really put my Furnace or anything else down. He'll get a few shots off. See, that Lumberjack is gonna tear him up, but he did get like what 3 shots off or something like that. I wasn't watching. You can let me know, or I can check it out in the replay. I almost never use Barbarians offensively like that. I'm just kind of cycling them out. Alright, there we go. I got a good use for the Fireball now, so I can get that out of my hand. His E-Wiz is so low, all I gotta do is log it. So this is something that I really want to stress in a later video, is how if you use something like Fireball, that'll get their wizards and similar units to almost dead. So you combo Fireball with a Zap or a Log, you know, one of the weaker spells, and that'll finish the job. So if they've ever got like 3 Musketeers or something like that. Oh boy, I better do something here quick. Well, look at that. I was too busy talking strategy, and I lost the match. But that's alright. He's laughing at me. That's okay. Good work, Vince. Whatever your name is. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on to showcasing the next deck. Okay, I gotta buckle down and take this one more seriously because this is my least favorite deck of the ones that I'm showcasing here. Now, I actually really like the concept of this deck, but I don't seem to do very well. Maybe I just need to work on it a little bit. Maybe I need to play a little bit more defensively. I usually end up plopping down a bunch of Elixir collectors because it's in there, and you know, I get this Elixir advantage, but I'm not really too sure what to use it on. You're supposed to bridge spam, so use things like Bandit at the bridge, and Ice Golem to tank for the Bandit, and the Inferno Dragon. Inferno Dragon will just sit up there, you know, at the bridge and just kind of slowly creep his way up and be blowing up all the big units. You can cycle with Ice Spirit. You got Log for a weak spell and Fireball for a strong spell. Nightwitch, I'm still learning how to use her, but apparently she's good in this deck as well. I see her in a lot of bridge spam decks, so maybe you're supposed to play her up at the bridge. But anyway, I'll generally go for a couple of Elixir collectors and work it out from there. So let's give it a go. Give him a good luck. Now, I'm genuine about these things. I like saying good luck and, you know, good job and stuff. He's saying good game and crying, probably because I'm higher level, maybe. I'm not too sure. Alright, let's start the bridge spam, because I don't have, what's it called, Elixir Collector in rotation for a while. Look at this Fireball. I got the Tower, I got the Furnace, and I got the Witch, without activating his main King Tower. Now, ooh, good thing I didn't plop that down, because I need to answer these Elite Barbs. Elite Barbs are an interesting card. They're kind of like Royal Giant. They're not that great at high level, but when you're playing ladder and everything else is kind of lower level than them, and that's like your highest level card, they got huge potential. They can do so much damage. A lot of people complain about the usage of Elite Barbs and Royal Giant. Alright, so I'm going to play defensively. I'm not doing so hot right now. This might turn into another loss, but that's alright. It's all in the sake of learning, right? So maybe I can learn a thing or here too while I'm playing the game. I want to put my Elixir Collector down on the other side here. I've already taken a ton of damage on this tower, so why put the Elixir Collector there where he's likely to, you know, fireball it or whatever spell he might have. A pro would have probably seen his whole entire hand already and told me exactly what spells he's gotten now, but I wasn't paying attention to that. Alright, I don't have too much to answer the Hog, but the Nightwitch actually does a pretty good job. I'm going to try to cycle into another Elixir Collector here. I will place this one here just for the sake of having them separate. Now I need to defend against these Elite Barbarians. Oh yeah, he used his Miner on my Elixir Collector. That was good. Alright, I think I really need to start just spamming the bridge, because that's what this deck is supposed to do, right? It's just bridge spam. So let's start putting all my cool units down the bridge. Ooh, it's getting some good damage off on the tower. Those elite barbs are going to give me trouble, though, of course. See if I can fireball as many units as I possibly can. If I could just get one of those Inferno Dragons to lock down on the tower, it would do a ton of damage. No, this is going to turn into another loss, but I'm alright with that. You know, you gotta accept losses here and there. Oh, he gave me a crying face. Good game, bud. Okay, let's move on to the next deck. Let's see what we got in store. Oh look, I lost 2 in a row, so I actually dropped arenas, but that's okay, because all my chests right now are from Arena 10. Except this one here is from 9. Because I probably did the same thing. If you lose a few in a row at the same time, then you'll drop down, even when you're using my strategy of sitting at about the same trophies. Alright, well let's go ahead and get into this last deck here, and I'm going to win this one for sure, because this is one of my favorites. This is a Beatdown deck. Beatdown is kind of like a snowball deck is what I used to call them, where you start with a big unit in the back, generally a tank, and you slowly build up this massive army and just plow through them. You can kind of afford to lose 1 or 2 towers, especially if you're running Golem instead of Giant. But, even with Giant, you can probably build up a big enough snowball to lose a tower and then just push all the way through and win with like a 3-tower win, get their main king tower down. So we got your Giant. He's your main tank. Baby Dragon supports him, big AoE splash damage, and he's also really tanky. He doesn't do a ton of damage, but he's really tanky, so he stays alive for a long time. Tornado, pull them into your Giant, or pull them into your King's Tower to activate it. It also really synergizes really well with your 2 spells. If you Tornado and Zap, it'll kill any of their minion horde or anything like that. Poison, Tornado plus Baby Dragon's awesome. Got your Nightwitch, which is a really strong, powerful support card in the Beatdown deck. Goes behind your Giant. Bandit's just in there for the fun of it. It's like a Nightwitch Bandit deck. I'll consider her support or like a mini tank in this. And Archer's, of course, one of my favorite support cards. So let's take this deck into a battle. Alright, good luck, Hochi. Hochi's level 10, so he might also be doing something similar to me. Where, yeah, see, he's got high level cards. So he's probably doing something similar to me where he, purposely loses trophies so that he can just play for the fun of it and not have a real rough time pushing ladder. Because as a lot of people can attest to, ladder is really difficult. It's not in a very great place right now. I think that's just kind of the nature of a lot of games. But I mean, it's undeniable. It is pretty difficult to push ladder. Bandit's really good against any ranged units, so that takes care of, Musketeer, Wizard, Ice Wizard, things like that. Alright, I'm getting this snowball started up. I'm going to get a Night Witch down. Now, some people like to put the Witch or the Night Witch down first before the Giant, because then it gives more time to build up its bats and its skeletons. I just like the Giant in the back because he's nice and slow. Alright, I'm going to put down a Poison. That'll take care of his whole minion horde. And it looks like my Night Witch stayed alive long enough to build up a few bats. Man, those bats just annihilate that tower. Look at that. I really like bats. They're a really strong card. Even the bats by themselves without the Night Witch. What are they? They cost 2 Elixir. And they do a ton of damage. They're really, squishy. They're really susceptible to Zap. But that also gives them the potential to be a bait for Zap. So that you can safely put out something like an Inferno Tower, or an Inferno Dragon, or a Skeleton Barrel. All things that are also susceptible to Zap in their own way. Alright, so see that Bandit took care of that last thing, I think was a Wizard, and then it charged into the tower. Still really strong. Might as well go on the left now, because I started it a little bit. Do the same thing and put my Giant down. Okay. Get this big Beatdown built up. Look at this Zap, Blam. That's what I should have used on that last minion horde instead of the Poison. Because the Poison takes a long time. Like, it'll totally kill the minion horde better than the zap, but it takes a few seconds. The zap is instantaneous. And if you do something like level your zap up to, like, say level 11, it'll instant shot things that it shouldn't at tournament level standard or at equal level. So if you got like a level 11 zap, it'll instant shot level 9 minions or minion hordes. Alright, give him a good game. Well, I'll say, you know, what was it, 3 out of 5 I won? That's pretty good for me. It's pretty embarrassing that I wanted to showcase these decks and then I lost 2 of them, but, you know, who do I think I am? I'm no pro. It's just a testament to the fact that I'm, you know, just a regular player. Regardless, I'm here to kind of give people tips and try to help people out, and that's kind of what I have in mind with this channel and this video and all of that. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this second video. I appreciate any feedback that you could give me on any of it, and, you know, be on the lookout. If this continues to go well, that first video went great, then I'll, you know, keep uploading stuff, and I'll definitely put some time into organizing some more, you know, complicated, well, not complicated, but complex videos, you know, more purposeful videos. So thanks again, and have a good one.